Welcome to another session of Basic Mathematical Analysis. Today, what we are going to do is we will have a brush up of complex numbers and their properties. So, the origin of numbers. We know that for counting purpose we have natural numbers, and like that the process of finding few more numbers has evolved by solving algebraic equations. So here we can consider one equation x square plus 5 equal to 0. This is one algebraic equation. For solving this equation we have seen that x square is equal to minus 5, and we will say that x is equal to plus or minus square root of 5. Sorry, minus 5. Now to denote this minus 5, square root of minus 5, we will have a notation. We will denote this as square root of minus 1 as I. And we will say that this is imaginary. And like that, this number can be represented as x equal to plus or minus I into root 5. So we have defined like this, and we will say that this is a complex number. So in general, we will say that a number a plus ib, where a comma b belongs to the set of real numbers, we will say that this is a complex number. This is a complex number. Then if b equal to 0, what will happen? If b equal to 0, then a plus ib will reduce as a plus 0. So it will become real number. Thus, this part we will say that this is the real part of a. Real part, and this b is said to be the imaginary part. So let us have in detail the discussion. Complex numbers. A complex number is any number of the form z equal to a plus ib. For example, see here you have taken this as z equal to 4 minus 9i, where a and b are real numbers and I is the imaginary unit. So imaginary unit means implies square root of minus 1, and we are denoting this as I. So that's why we are saying that I is the imaginary unit. Now we can have this example, 4 minus 9i. So real part of z is 4 and imaginary part of z is 9, and we will denote this as re of z and im of z. So real part means this side a plus ib form, a is going to be the real part and b is going to be the imaginary part. So note that whenever you are listing out the imaginary part, the symbol I is not there in the imaginary part. Okay, so remember, real part and imaginary part of a complex number are real numbers. And next, a real constant multiple of the imaginary unit is called the pure imaginary number. So when you are writing z equal to 6i, it is a pure imaginary number. So z equal to, z is the usual notation we are using for representing complex numbers. So z equal to I is again a pure imaginary number. Another z equal to minus I, z equal to 6i, right? Everything is going to be purely imaginary numbers. That means when you are missing the real part, we will say that that complex number is a pure imaginary number. Now when we will say that two complex numbers are equal, that is a plus ib equal to some x plus iy, This implied that A equal to X and B equal to Y. Right? That means the corresponding real part and should be equal, and corresponding imaginary part should be also equal. In that case, we will say that these two complex numbers are equal. Definition: equality. Complex numbers z1 equal to a1 plus ib1 and z2 equal to a2 plus ib2 are equal if z1 equal to z2, if a1 equal to a2 and b1 equal to b2. That is, corresponding real part are equal and corresponding imaginary part are equal. Now we will use the notation C for representing the complex numbers. And as we have said, whenever you are having a plus ib as a complex number, suppose your b value is 0, what you are getting is a and b are real numbers. So whenever b value is 0, you will get a alone. That means this belongs to set of real numbers. So any real number can be written as in the form of a complex number where the imaginary part is 0. So we can consider real number as a subset of complex numbers. Next is, what are the operations that we can perform in the set of complex numbers? In complex numbers, as in the real case, we can go for addition, multiplication, subtraction and division whenever the divisor is not a zero quantity. So addition is defined as coordinate wise. That is, for adding z1 and z2, z1 equal to a1 plus ib1, z2 equal to a2 plus ib2. For adding, we should add coordinate wise. That is, a1 plus a2. See, I have written like this. Now a1 plus a2. This we have added. Next, I into b1 plus b2. Coordinate wise we can say. That is real part, sum of real part. And this is sum of imaginary part. Okay, so that is the summation idea. Similarly, subtraction means we should subtract the real part plus I into difference between imaginary parts. And for multiplication, it's given like this, but we are no need to memorize this like this. And for division also, even though we can find it like this, no need of memorizing these two. These two we can easily have the idea of from this. This can be reduced from the idea of associativity. And distributive idea, and one more idea, square root of minus 1 is equal to I. By using these 3 points, we can easily find the product of any two complex numbers. Let us see how we can find this. So what is commutative law? Commutative law says that with respect to addition, z1 plus z2 equal to z2 plus z1. Right? Then we will say that this is commutative. With respect to multiplication means z1 z2 equal to z2 z1. So it doesn't matter how you are operating these two elements, whether you are taking z1 at first and z2 at second, or z2 at first and z1 second. No specification of which order you are writing z1 and z2. Now associative law. Associative law says that z1, associative law, first you are having z1, now you are having the sum of z2 plus z3. So you are adding z1 to the sum of z2 plus z3. It will be same as first you add z1 plus z2, then you add Z3. These two will result the same, means we will say that this operation plus is associative. Now similarly for product also, Z1 into the product of Z2 Z3 is getting Z product of Z1 Z2 into product of Z3. Now this is called the associative law. Now for distributive law means we are saying that the product is distributive over addition. That is when you are having 3 into 5 plus 6. 3 into 5 plus 6. You know that this is third 3 is coming. So this is same as 3 into 5 plus 3 into 6. So how much would come? 15 plus 18. Again resulting 33, right? So this is called the distributive. So product is distributive over addition. So when you're having these three ideas and one more idea, root of minus 1 is equal to I, we can easily find the product. Let us see. Sorry. We can easily find the product. So here is given one example. Z1 equal to 2 plus 4i and Z2 equal to minus 3 plus 8i. We want to find Z1 plus Z2 first of all. So Z1 plus Z2 means I should add the real part, 2 plus minus 3 plus I into sum of imaginary parts, 4 plus 8. So it will result minus 1 plus 12i. Right. Now if you want to find Z1 Z2, so Z1 Z2 is equal to 2 plus 4i into minus 3 plus 8i. You go for adding distributive way. So 2 plus 4i into minus 3 plus 8i. This can be written as using distributive law 2 into minus 3 plus 8i plus 4i into minus 3 plus 8i. Right? Now go for distributing this 2 to this sum. So this is 2 into minus 3 plus 2 into 8i plus 4i into 3 plus, sorry, minus 3, right? Minus 3 plus 4i into 8i. And this is minus 6 plus 16i plus minus 12i. Now here is coming as 4 into 8 is 32, but I square is coming, I square is minus 1. So I will get minus 32. So the summation will become minus 6 minus 32, right, plus 16i minus 12i. So this will become minus 38 plus 4i. Am I right? Minus 38 plus 4i. So this is the way how we are finding the product. Hope you understood this. We are multiplying. First we are distributing this 2 to this. Next distributing 4i to this. Find the product. Then use the idea that I square equal to minus 1. Since I square equal to minus 1. Then we can easily find what is the product of these two numbers. Now zeros and unity in set of complex numbers. So we can write 0 of a complex number as 0 plus 0i. 0 plus 0i. So when you're having a complex number a plus ib plus this 0 plus 0i, as we said, we want to add it coordinate wise. That means the real part first, then plus I into sum of imaginary part. So it will result a plus 0 plus I into b plus 0. So it will result exactly a plus ib from where we have started. So this is called the 0 of complex number. That is 0 plus 0i. So 0 in the complex number system is the number 0 plus 0i. Now in the same way we can have the unity. Unity we are defining as 1 plus 0i. The 0 and unity are denoted by 0 and 1 respectively. Now when we are writing in the complex number 1 means that is nothing but 1 plus 0i. And when we are writing 0 in a complex number system, it means that 0 is nothing but 0 plus 0i. Now this 0, as I said, when you are adding this 0 to any complex number, it resulting the same complex number. So we will say that 0 is the additive identity in the complex number system. Now similarly, unity in the multiplicative identity of the system. That means when we are having a number a plus ib into 1 plus 0i. Just to multiply, what you are getting is, first of all we want to distribute this a to 1 plus 0i plus ib into 1 plus 0i. So when you are distributing, this is a plus 0, right, plus here ib plus 0, whatever is coming is 0. So you are getting as a plus ib. That means when you are having product with 1 plus 0i, you are getting the same complex number. So we can say that this is the multiplicative identity. Multiplicative identity. Next we have said that no need of memorizing the idea of product and division. But product, now you are clear with that. But when you are going for the division, what should be taken care? First we are having the definition of conjugate. Conjugate means that suppose you are given a complex number, some 6 plus 7i, then we will denote this as conjugate as z bar, that is nothing but 6 minus 7i. Only difference is we are changing the sign of imaginary part. So if z equal to a plus ib, then its conjugate z bar is defined as a minus ib in general. So instead of so we can discuss some properties of this conjugate. First property is z1 plus z2 conjugate is same as z1 conjugate plus z2 conjugate, and same way in the difference also. That means when you are having, see, suppose I am having z1 equal to 3 plus 2i and z2 equal to 1 plus 4i. Two complex numbers, right? Then what should be z bar? z1 bar 3 minus 2i and z2 bar 1 minus 4i. Now suppose you are finding z1 plus z2. What is that? Now we can go for easily 4 plus 6i, right? Now what is z1 plus z2 bar? That is conjugate of z1 plus z2, that is 4 minus 6i. Right? Now you find what is z1 bar plus z2 bar. That is these two. When you are adding these two, you will get 3 plus 1, 4 minus 2 plus 4, 6i. You are getting the same, right? So z1 plus z2 bar or conjugate is same as z1 conjugate plus z2 conjugate. So in the same fashion we can go for multiplication also. That is, you're finding z1 z2, then finding conjugate is same as first you're finding conjugate of z1, then multiplying by conjugate of z2. Same way for division also, this you can check it. For division also, when you're having z1 by z2 bar, it is nothing but z1 bar by z2 bar. And this is the property. When you're finding z conjugate, then again conjugate. For example, when you are having this z1, first you are finding 3 plus 2i conjugate. then its conjugate we want to find. So this is 3 minus 2i conjugate. So that will become 3 plus 2i. So you're getting z1 itself. So that's the meaning of this. So when you're finding twice conjugate, or we will say that such property we are operating towards and you are getting the same, you will say that this is idempotent. Idempotent. So conjugate is a idempotent operation. That is, when you are finding conjugate twice, you will get the same z itself. Now addition and multiplication shows the sum and product of complex numbers z with its conjugate z bar. Okay, so when you're having z and z bar, you go for adding this z and z bar. What you're getting is a plus ib plus a minus ib. So as our procedure of addition, it will result a plus a, that is 2a, plus I into b plus minus b. So it should be 0. So what you're getting is 2a, that is 2 times real part of z equal to z plus z bar you will get. Or else you can say that in order to find real part of z, it is nothing but z plus z bar by 2. In the same way, z bar, when you are having z bar, it will result a square plus b square. That means we are getting real numbers. So this is our idea to divide two complex numbers. That is, we are making use of z bar idea. When you are multiplying z with its conjugate, we are getting a real number. Now when you are finding the difference of complex numbers z with the z bar, it will result pure imaginary number. See here, z minus z bar. So a plus ib minus a minus ib. So this will result a minus a, first term, right? Plus I into b minus b will come. So it will result 2ib. So when you want to find the imaginary part of some complex number z, it is nothing but z minus z bar by 2. So these are the formulas we are using for finding real part and imaginary part of complex numbers. And this is the result that we are using for dividing two numbers. So let us see how we can divide these two numbers. See, suppose I want to divide z1 and z2. Make sure that when you are dividing z1 with z2, condition is z2 cannot be equal to 0. So here z2 is not equal to 0. Now I want to find 2 minus 3i by 4 plus 6i. Okay, you take this quantity, go for its conjugate. Its conjugate is 4 minus 6i. You multiply numerator and denominator with this. So what you're getting is 2 minus 3i by 4 plus 6i into 4 minus 6i by 4 minus 6i. Since you are multiplying and dividing with the same quantity, it will not affect the value of this quantity. So it will result as 2 minus 3i into 4 minus 6i by, what is z into z bar? As you have said, it will result a square plus b square, right? Proceed. Yeah, z bar is a square plus b square, that is real part square plus imaginary part square. So this quantity will reduce as 4 square plus 6 square. Now multiplication you know how to perform, that is 2 into 4 minus 6i plus minus 3i into 4 minus 6i. by how much will come? 4 square 16 plus 6 square 36, right? So this will be 8 minus 12i minus 12i, right? Am I right? 12i plus, again will become minus, right? Minus 18, minus 18, am I right? You will get here 3i into 6i is 18i square, so minus 18 will come. So minus 18, here one minus is there, so plus 18, but here one more minus, so minus 18 by how much will come this sum? So 52, right? So this entire quantity will reduce as 8 minus 18 minus 24i by 52, that is minus 10 plus 24i by 52. So this is the quotient of when you are dividing this complex number with 4 plus 6i. So we get minus 10i plus 24i by 52. So this is the procedure how we are dividing complex numbers. That means first of all you take the conjugate of your denominator and multiply and divide with the conjugate of the denominator with the complex number. Then use the idea of multiplication. Then you will get the result. Now next term is inverse. As we have said, if a complex number set not equal to 0, we can go for its inverse. And with respect to addition, we can go for the inverse as z is a given complex number. So minus z will denote the additive inverse. Additive inverse. And whenever z not equal to 0, we can go for the multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative inverse. Now multiplicative inverse we can define as 1 by z. Further we can multiply and divide with the z bar. So what you are getting is z bar by a square plus b square will get, where z equal to a plus ib form. So we will say that this 1 by z as, this is the way how we are calculating 1 by z, and this 1 by z is called the reciprocal of z. See, multiplicative inverse in symbol for z not equal to 0, there exists one and only one non-zero complex number, z inverse we will say, such that z inverse equal to 1. Now the multiplicative inverse z inverse is same as the reciprocal 1 by z. See, here is the way how we are finding the reciprocal. As given that to find the reciprocal of z equal to 2 minus 3i. So we want to find 1 by z. So 1 by 2 minus 3z. This is nothing but the division. Now we want to multiply and divide with conjugate of the denominator. That is 2 plus 3i. So you have divided and multiplied with 2 plus 3i. Use the idea of multiplication. We will get 2 plus 3i by 13. And further we can verify that z into 1 by z. You will get it as the identity. Next we want to make some remarks over here. Unlike the real numbers, the first remark we want to mention here is that we cannot compare two complex numbers. That is, if z1 and z2 are given, then z1 greater than z2 or Z1 less than Z2, we cannot say in general like this. Such a thing is not possible. Unless otherwise, your Z1 and Z2 are pure real numbers. So whenever Z1 and Z2 are real numbers, that is imaginary part is 0, means we can go for such a comparison. But whenever it is a complex number, that is imaginary part is not equal to 0 type, then we cannot compare these two numbers as we are doing in your real numbers. That's the first remark. See, many of the properties of real number system are held in the complex number system C, but there are some truly remarkable differences as well. For example, the concept of order. When we are saying that comparison, we are making some order, right? So we cannot order two complex numbers in the real number system does not carry over to the complex number system. In other words, we cannot compare two complex numbers z1 equal to a1 plus ib1 b1c. It is very important, b1 not equal to 0 and z2 equal to a2 plus ib2 where b2 not equal to 0. So we cannot take two complex number, one is bigger than the other. Such a concept cannot hold in the set of complex number unless otherwise the number that we are taking is real numbers. And second remark is that we have studied that modulus of sine modulus of sine x is always less than or equal to 1, right? And e power x is always greater than or equal to, always greater than 0 whenever this x is real. But in complex case, the picture is different. That is, we can have minus value of e power x whenever x is a complex number. Then sin x value can be 5 also. We have studied that sin x value will always lie between -1 and 1 whenever x is real numbers. But in complex case, sin x can be 5 also. So any value greater than 1. So unlike real number, these two remarks we want to keep in mind whenever you are dealing with complex numbers. That is, the first one was, in general, we cannot compare two complex numbers. Second thing, in complex valued functions can have exponential functions can have negative values and trigonometry functions can have values greater than 1. So with this, I am winding up today's session here. Hope you understood this class worked as a brush up to a concept of complex numbers. So I am winding up the session here. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you.